Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only, Mexi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario Party Jamboree, for not only for the Nintendo Switch, but in addition to Nintendo Switch 2 version, thanks to additional content, which then again, that'll be a topic for a later time. So, last time, we somehow managed to experience the 7th and the final board in Super Mario Party Jamboree, specifically in Mario Party mode, and that's what appears to be taking place in King Bowser's Keep. And similar to the forms of how it does it in Western Land, I've basically dominated the entire board, and relatively speaking, I somehow got about whopping 15 stars on that particular board in King Bowser's Keep, mainly because of my good dice rolls, and in addition to meeting Boo a couple of times, and on top of that, access to the actual vault. So even then, as you can see, I've managed to take a picture of another photo right there, which appears to be too scary, which, again, that'll be a topic for a later time, so even then. So yeah, today for this video, alongside with tomorrow's video, is that we're about to be going on to Mario Party mode for the final time on the Switch 1 version specifically, because like I said this before, since in yesterday, and even a couple of days back, we are about to be heading over into the second roles, which appears to be the Pro roles, which, as far as I'm aware, this particular roles is very different compared to the forms of how it does it for party roles, which, mind you, in party roles is a very standard format, whilst in the forms within the Pro roles version, well, as far as I'm aware, the main goal remains the same. You still need to be able to collect most stars and most coins in order to be able to become a true superstar, but there are some slight changes here and there. Like, for example though, as soon as when you start the actual board up, you do realize about the fact that this particular roles is all about skill instead of luck. So this means about the fact that there are certain changes for some spaces, and in addition to some effects for some spaces. So because of this though, now as far as I'm aware, that this particular Pro roles is only gonna last it for about 12 turns, as you can see on screen. So much to the point we cannot increase it up to 15, 20, 25, or 30 turns. So it's all basically just only 12 turns. So as a result, and also you can only go for one bonus star, which is all depending on 3 bonus stars of choice, which appears to be the Sightseer bonus, which is self-explanatory, Eventful bonus, and Slowpoke bonus. So yeah, you get the idea for this point. You can also able to actually choose one of your items for start. So for instance though, we can able to actually go for a mushroom or a skeleton key and all that jazz. So as a result, yeah, we'll get into more details about this in a second, because as you can see on screen, the chance time space is nowhere to be found. So because of this though, and also as far as I'm aware, the lucky space is now able to actually offer you 2 options, and as far as I'm aware, the Bowser space only has one thing for its entire punishment, which even then we'll get into more details on that as soon as we're able to dive into the only board we can only go through. And in addition to that is about the fact that the star spots signs is now visibly shown up, and when it comes to meeting up with Boo, it now does have some change, which as a result you can still able to technically steal a star for about 50 coins, although now for the fact that if you're trying to steal a coins or something like that, it now obviously shows you can now steal up to 15 coins, so for free either way. So because of that, and then once you go into the dueling system, as you can see, rather than wagering the coins, so instead we can now wager stars. So, but either way, let's hop into this particular roles. Now, as far as the results on it so far, well, as you can see, that most of you people out there, we actually got ourselves 10 votes, which as you can see, we've got 80% of Rainbow Galleria board, and on top of all that stuff though, unlike the other 2 boards, got 10% each, except for one, which as a result, kind of an interesting results there, doesn't it? So yeah, it may look like the majority of the people out there was voting for Rainbow Galleria, which I have no idea why they somehow managed to prefer going into Rainbow Galleria, because no wonder why is their fan favorite board in this game. So anyway, now in terms of the forms of the settings, as far as I'm aware, as you can definitely tell, I'm selecting Rosalina for this particular choice this time. And meanwhile, when it comes to computer players wise, I'm actually going to be going for shuffle those around. So just in case about the fact that we're probably not going to come across into Mario again, because after all, I've already played as Mario last time. And in addition to that, we've already seen Luigi last time, along with Wario and Waluigi. And in addition to that, though, it's about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, though, as you can definitely tell, I'm going back on using my Joy-Con controllers, because this will be the last chance before the single-player mode, because aside from all that stuff, though, it's about the fact that, after all, we still only got about 3 motion control minigames left. In addition to that, also, for the sake of the 3 item minigames here and there as well. So because of that, though, yeah, we shall wait and see what happens in due time. So yeah, we thought to ourselves we might as well bring back Ninja and Koopa Troopa and of course Bodo. So I think that should be the case. So as you can see, since we're about to be going into Rainbow Galleria, we were originally going to be able to decide to choose all 8 items, so instead we're only going to be choosing one of those items out of 7. So this means that you can either choose the Chomp Core, or a mushroom, or one of those warp boxes, or even a pipe, or even especially noticeable with the actual familiar cellar phone right there, which I'm about to be choosing, because that was the item you might be familiar with since in Mario Party 3. And meanwhile, when it comes to minigame help and motion controls, they are both on. So just in case about the fact that, like I said before, that we've only got 3 motion control minigames left, and in addition to 3 item minigames as well. So because of that, so yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop back into Rainbow Galleria for the second time. And usually relatively speaking though, actually, is that once the actual board has been chosen, as soon as we're able to dive into the other 2 rules that are only exclusive onto Switch 2 versions, obviously though is about the fact that Rainbow Galleria will not be included, just to let you guys know, especially that this board is already being chosen by all of you. Well, only 10 votes, like I said before, so either way, yeah, we already know about this board basically, because, you know, we've already experienced this before, and this time, I'm now going first place, so even then, and yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. So, of course, as we expected, we're able to start things off with 10 coins, just like defaults the regular party rolls, so... But only now, for the fact that, as you can tell, that the host of the Pro Rolls this time is now being hosted by a different colored Toad, specifically Purple Toad. So because of that though, yeah, you can definitely get the idea for the fact that we're probably not going to meet up with Yellow Toad for a while. So anyway, and then as you can tell, he did somehow choose the eventful bonus, which means that we must land so many of those event spaces at all times. So because of that though, but then again though, it's all random by the way, every time whenever you go into the Pro Rolls by the way, because like I said before, we obviously have like a 33.3% chance of one of those specific bonus stars will be chosen. Well, at least only one of them, mind you. So, yeah, without further ado, let's hop back into Rainbow Galleria, except this time a lot shorter in comparison to the main run through with all that 30-turn game, and so much to the point, yeah, as you can see on screen, I land on the lucky space, and all I'm really choosing is the 10 coins bonus, because yes, as far as you probably already know, that we can only select up to 2 options this time, as opposed to that little wheel roulette, because otherwise though, there's only 2 options, which appears to be, you can get the 10 coins, or you can able to go for the double dice, so... yeah, that's saying something. So, and yeah, like I said before, it's about the fact that there are some star signposts now spread all over the actual board. Whilst, unlike the forms of, if you ever go into the forms of in Mario's Rainbow Castle or something like that, I really don't think they're gonna show us the star signpost anywhere, because in Mario's Rainbow Castle, there's only one star space in particular. Whilst, unlike any other boards though, it does manage to able to show us any of those star signposts to tell you about the fact that once the star has been purchased, it will obviously go on to the next spot. So, that's saying something, I suppose. So, anyway, so yeah, a few things I want to talk about this is though, and that's what it appears to be for the fact that, well, today's date, of course, here is the 14th of August today, in some cases in 2025 today, and only 2 more weeks to go, or technically 14 days left until You know what I'm talking about. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus Star-Crossed World is gonna be on its way. So, anyway, and also as you can see, in the actual minigame transition right there, rather than just going for that particular minigame roulette system, unlike the forms of how it does it in Party Rolls mode, so instead we're able to actually go for a voting system, which is pretty interesting change, especially considering about the fact that hopefully though, if we dare manage able to actually land on the versus base for instance, then we should able to actually get ourselves a bigger chance to able to actually see some minigames that we have not experienced yet. So, well mind you, we've still only got about one more 4-player minigame left, and in addition to that, I'm pretty sure we still have only played one boss battle minigame so far, and we haven't played the rest of it though, so but then again though, if we don't get a chance to able to actually fight against with the next boss battle coming up, then suffice to say that the single player mode will be the best option as far as encountering every last bit of minigames here and there, in addition to the item minigames as well, which unfortunately though, is that if you ever go onto the item minigame alongside with the dual minigames, they are all still basically randomized, so unfortunately though you can't pick them sadly, so because of that though, that's something worth noting for. So anyway, so we somehow won the first minigame in Pro Rolls, and something's worth noting for, if you ever play this Rolls in online play, you're able to actually greet it with a skill grade, which means about the fact that, depending on what position you're in, like for instance though, if you're in first place throughout the whole thing, you're able to actually get some additional points, and as a result, that will add up to your level grade by quite a few ranks. Like, you start things off with a D rank, but eventually, as soon as you get even more points, you're able to actually reach to not only rank C, but in addition to rank B, A, and especially noticeable for S. So because of that though, no wonder why rank S is much more popular these days after the events of, well, let's just say after the existence of Sonic Rush's introduction into the rank S. So, and it'll continue that tradition all the way up to Shadow Generations, that's for sure. So, but anyway, so I got a 6, so I should able to get enough movements to get to the first star in this Pro Rolls mode. So, then of course we can able to actually once again fast forward these segments here. And also, as far as I'm aware, the chance time spaces are nowhere to be found in this Rolls, because otherwise, no need for the forms of frustration with that particular chance time spaces until we meet again with the chance time space until whatever we dive into the frenzy rolls or the tag match rolls. So yeah, that's something's worth bringing this out. So alright, so now the star space is going to be on the left side of the actual elevator lift. So yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. But yeah, regardless of everything else though, that's as far as we can able to say about the forms of how Pro Rolls plays out to be, aside from the fact that the item system or the shopping system, as far as I'm aware, well mind you, we ended up in Rainbow Galleria, that's for sure. Now as you can see, we have to force to able to give out 20 coins if you manage to able to land on the versus space, and ooh, we actually got ourselves the minigame we have not played yet, specifically in the 4-player category, so let's go ahead and select that. So, let's get into the next motion control minigame, which obviously is going to be called, well, at least as far as whenever we hold the Joy-Con sideways. Here we go with Shuttle Scuttle. So, avoid damage while boosting towards the goal. If you get zapped twice, you're out. So, gotta think about it, this minigame does remind me of a combination of both Blooper Blastoff and Fuzzy Heights, or should I say Fuzzy Flyers, from the likes of Mario Party 10, which as a result, if you know what I mean, because basically though, is about the fact you're able to actually just tilt your controller sideways and at the same time, trying to able to hold down the button to able to proceed upwards. Although it also reminds me of a little bit from Bumper Bubbles from Mario Party 9, although rather than just trying to collect the insane amount of balloons, unlike the forms of how it does it in Mario Party 9, so relatively speaking, that was about the fact that all you have to really do in this minigame is just try to avoid the insane amount of those amps, and once you get zapped twice, you're out. So, and as far as I'm aware, just like the forms of how it does it in Fuzzy Flyers minigame or anything else like that in Mario Party 10, that obviously does about the fact that the progression, what if you're trying to like go all the way up, does matter of the actual position or something. I mean, it has been quite a while since I actually have last played this, along with Mario Party 10. Well, that's just because no matter what though, then again, it's so hard for me to go back onto Mario Party 10 these days because, you know, anyone starts to forget about the car mechanic now, because, you know, straight to the point is about the fact it's been 10 years since, you know, Mario and the crew did somehow utilize the vehicle mechanic from both Mario Party 9 as well as Mario Party 10. Well, technically Mario Party 10, mind you, because you get the idea for that point. So, anyway, so that pretty much does it for every single 4-player minigames in Super Mario Party Jamboree. So, off to a good start so far, especially considering about the fact that, after all, that we still technically got about one more duel minigame left, and in addition to one more 2 vs 2 minigame left. And aside from all that stuff though, yeah, that's as far as we can able to say about this, I guess. So, anyway, let's talk about the forms of the shopping system. Well, to be more specifically, the regular item shopping system, because as far as I'm aware, in Pro Rolls mode, it does introduce into ourselves the stock limited system, which means that if you do manage to able to buy a certain item, these stockings will not last. So as a result, you can still able to actually get items after a while. Specifically, for instance, in this board in particular, what I found was very surprising, that the limited stocking thing does not get affected on any other shops, ranging from the Super Shop and the Gold Shop, as well as the forms of 4th place shop, that apparently those shops will not be affected on the actual stocking limitations. So, but only the regular item shop. That's as far as I was mainly considered with. So, but yeah, I don't think it's possible we can able to actually record this entire Pro Rolls thing within one video for today. But usually, relatively speaking, it's only go for about 2 parts in particular, spoiler alert, in case if you're curious, because aside from all that stuff though, yeah, just like the forms of how it does it in the regular party rolls mode, and especially noticeable with the upcoming frenzy rolls, the Jamboree buddy system will still make it appear for the sake of the forms of pro rolls. So yeah, basically for the most part, the entire main core gameplay remains unchanged. So anyways, let's go on to blame it on the crane, despite... Oh yeah, we're actually going for blame it on the crane after all. So, yeah, for the most part though, is about the fact that for whatever reason, I've never actually touched upon Pro Rolls mode in online play, but that's just mainly because at that point in time, the only thing I was really into online mode in Super Mario Party Jamboree, which appears to be both, let's just say, survival mode in the minigame bay, and in addition to the forms of, let's just say, Koopa Avalon and Bowser Kaboom Squad, because usually, relatively speaking, is actually very addictive, especially noticeable considering about the fact that those modes in particular also utilizes the actual skill grade. So yeah, you can get the idea what I was expecting for this point. So, but yeah, for the most part though, it's about the fact that that's as far as I can try to describe in terms of the forms of how Pro Rolls plays out to be. Well, aside from the fact that, let's talk about the forms of the Bowser space system in terms of the Pro Rolls mode. Now, rather than just trying to able to actually take away coins or do a Bowser Revolution or switching places around with Bowser Shuffle. So instead, every single option, if you dare land on the Bowser space, will always have to be taking your star away. But here's the catch: if you do have a star, well, obviously Imposter Bowser will be able to steal your star. But if you don't have a star, on the other hand, well, you're able to actually lose half of your coins. Very similar to the forms of how it does it for losing half of your mini-stars, for not only for both Mario Party 9, but in addition to Mario Party 10 as well, for some boards. Like, for example, in, let's just say, Bob-Omb Factory, and in addition to Boo's Horror Castle, Blooper Beach, Magma Mine, and especially noticeable for one of those events, if you land on the Bowser space in Bowser Station. Which, seriously, whenever I manage to look back on Bowser Station in Mario Party 9, don't get me wrong, it's a nice little themed board to able to actually traverse into, but it's just that the final stretch always bugs me a little bit, which is especially noticeable considering about the fact that it's all depending on dice rolls. It is even bad enough that you have to stuck with the forms of 1 through 6 dice block most of your time, as long as you get very lucky with all that, well, 1 through 10 dice block, again, if you're super lucky enough. So, Alright, so it looks like Bodo decides able to buy the Star Steel traps, which is interesting to say the least. Especially we now on turn 3 so far, so anyways, it looks like Bodo's gonna land on another versus base right there. So, who knows, we might able to actually come across into a boss battle minigame, maybe, we have no idea. Well, because mind you, we can't take control of those computer players, sadly, so it's a little bit, we're going back to that one again. So close to able to actually predict on trying to go on to the next boss battle minigame, but oh well. I suppose no matter what though, is that the single player mode might be the best solution, so. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. Have you ever experienced pro rolls already in Super Mario Party Jamboree? Well, to be honest with you, I rarely played that mode that much, but that's just mainly because what makes the other Mario Party games so fun to begin with is that not only because of luck factor decides to screw you up sometimes, but it's also about the fact that, well, sometimes it can be entertaining if, you know, chance times comes into play or anything else like that, despite usually sometimes I'm not a big fan of the forms of those chance time spaces, but that's besides the point, so. But, maybe I could probably try to able to actually play pro rolls on online play on my spare own time. I mean, that way, because no matter what though, it's about the fact that there's also another, set of, items I could possibly try to get on my spare own time, which not only for the fact that we can able to try to get all S ranks with, 4 modes specifically, but in addition to that, something tells me about the fact that similar to the forms of how it does it on, remember on the online play on Mario Party Superstars? Specifically if you try to play online with random people across the world, you do realize about the fact that there's actually that particular applause thing, which means that you can able to do a button mashing thing to see how many claps you're able to gain. Well, it may look like, I get the feeling for the fact that that feature will return in Super Mario Party Jamboree, at least that's what I was going to be thinking about anyway. Well, mind you, the only problem with this is, though, is about the fact that I swear, every time when I was trying to access to online play, specifically in Mario Party mode, that I couldn't find anyone in the actual match so far, which means about the fact that I get the strong feeling for the fact that they always attempt to play a different game elsewhere, such as for instance though with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I don't mind, especially after that massive backlash with all that particular online functionality with specifically Mario Kart World. Although don't get me wrong, some people attempt to play Mario Kart World on a rare occasion, but it's just about the fact that they don't play it that often anymore with all that, you know, massive backlash after that particular patch update, so. And meanwhile, this could be also applies to the forms of how the fact that some players out there always attempts to play other games in general, such as for instance though, about the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, it was about the fact that they always attempt to play Donkey Kong Bonanza for a while, and in addition to the forms of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for experiencing online, and you pretty much get the idea for the fact they may get the feeling for the fact that the majority of the Switch 1 as well as Switch 2 are pretty much busy work in terms of experiencing some games in online play, which even then, that's all I can really think about it, because like I said before, that it wasn't until in 2026 for PlayStation 4 specifically, obviously though it's about the fact that the actual support will no longer continuing for PlayStation 4 after experiencing for realizing that PS5 is still basically recent around that time, so yeah, you can get the idea for that, alongside with the forms of some, well, supposed rumors and leaks about the forms of the next PlayStation, not just by the console, but as well as the handheld as well, since PlayStation Vita back in 2012, at least that's what I've known anyway. Well, mind you though, about the fact that we haven't exactly thought about it just yet though, just because we're still on, 2025 as it is for right now, so anyway, and in addition to that though, is about the fact that since that Cap King 74, or Stuart to be more specifically, that you already realize about the fact that he obviously already finishes up you know, any other parts of Miitopia, so no matter what though, we have no idea if he's going to be returning until the next couple of months, or 1 year in particular. Well, it's pretty tricky to judge right now, so anyway, it's time to use my glorious golden pipe so I can able to get the next star, so But, yeah, everything else checks out there, basically, of how can I be able to actually describe about any other aspects worth noting for. Actually, I just realized, I think I might actually land on yet another event space right near to where the gold shop is. So, yeah, because it may look like about the fact that certain dice rolls managed to help me for quite a bit. So, oh yeah, and something's worth noting for, in terms of the bonus stars anyway, the only bonus stars will not be included in Pro Rolls mode, which appears to be the minigame bonus, and in addition to Rich bonus, and in addition to Misfortune bonus, and in addition to, let's just say the shopping bonus, and the item bonus, and in addition to the Bowser Space bonus, at least as far as I'm considered with, so, because then again though, they only choose 3 of those randomly generated 1 bonus star in particular, like, you know, Sightseer bonus, and the Slowpoke bonus, and finally, Eventful bonus, so... And also, as far as I'm aware, I get the feeling, in order to able to actually unlock the ability to play the Pro Rolls, is that I'm pretty sure that you need to play through one of those boards for the first time in Mario Party mode, I'm presuming so anyway, because unlike the forms of how it does it on Frenzy Rolls, and in addition to Tag Match Rolls, basically does about the fact that those modes are already unlocked from the start, specifically on the Switch 2 version, assuming if you do able to get the physical version or the upgrade pack digitally. So, yeah, that's something's worth noting for that particular topics in terms of access those modes with some sort of criteria for, you know, trying to get those things or something. So, wow, I'm generally surprised they didn't seem to able to target at me, which, mind you, because I spent it on so much on the Golden Shop, which, let's face it though, is about the fact that so far I'm on the Eventful bonus on the lead right now. So, well, mind you, both me and Ninja are pretty much gone close to each other in regards to the forms of Eventful bonus, so... Alright, so Ninja just somehow place his Star Trap right there. And he meets up with Bowser, so this means about the fact that, like I said before, that since he doesn't have a star, this means you might as well able to take half of his coins away from Imposter Bowser, so... Yeah, because every single category right there are all basically 1 star, but even then, yeah, that's a ultimate punishment right there, so... But, yeah, I guess there's nothing else I can really say, apart from the fact that once we're able to dive into the duel mini-games, specifically if you land on the same spot as each other on the last 5 turns, and in addition to a dueling glove, specifically the regular one specifically, that you can now wager stars instead of coins. So, yeah, as a result, it just feels a little bit weird on the actual transition for, oh wow, I'm genuinely surprised that everyone, including me, managed to pick cookie cutters. So, yeah, I've got nothing else to say about this either. So, hopefully, this minigame won't give me that much trouble again, at least specifically on the team of 3. So, but, yeah, I'm afraid to tell you for this point, guys, that's as far as I can try to describe about the forms of today's discussion, I'm afraid. Well, apart from the fact that until next week, that Chibi Robo is going to be hitting it onto, you know, Nintendo Switch 2 online expansion pack, when it comes to GameCube games will be added to the service. So, yeah, at the very least, not long now until that's going to be the case. So, but anyway, so once again, we somehow won, I'm presuming so, because unlike last time, that we actually got ourselves the overall first place winner with all the solo player and team players, essentially, from the last board, so, but either way. And as far as trying to go through those 3 additional roles, as far as I'm aware, I will try my best able to win some of it, but regardless of such, though, it's about the fact that it's all really depending on, you know, all about skill sometimes, and sometimes occasional luck with all the dice rolls and everything, so... Anyway, so it's now for flash sale time, so even then, so since we're on the Pro Rolls mode, this only goes for about, twice, for the sake of the actual flash sale, events, so...
Jamboree.
Alright, so Bowser Jr. is back onto the Jamboree buddy again, so, and of course, since we're going to be using Rosalina, so as a result, we can't encounter Rosalina's Radical Race. as soon as we're able to actually use her. So, unless if you try to go on to minigame Bay, on the other hand, well, you get the idea what I was expecting. So, anyway, it's time to use our glorious double or payday double dice, so we can able to add up even more coins, like 14 specifically. So that's pretty awesome. So, yeah, I guess that's nothing else I can say. So, although I would like to able to land on that little Boo Bell shop, but instead, I'm gonna land on this particular gamble thing right there. So, I mean, because last time though, it's about the fact that while Rosalina's being controlled by a computer player, she got very lucky with that golden pipe that she got. So, but I highly doubt it for my part, because as you can tell, we've only got the blue ball and 2 white balls. So, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this amount. Alright, so Bodo's gonna place her another Star Steel trap, so as a result, she's gonna place it right where she was. So, oh boy, it's gonna be a pretty dangerous route as far as anything else is worth considering about. So, and yeah, as far as I'm aware though, it's about the fact that if you try to go onto Western Land or King Bowser's Keep, you do have the ability to able to get the skeleton key from the start. At least if I was assuming so anyway, so. Alright, Koopa's gonna use the mock-up sticker against me, somehow, which, despite the fact that I wasn't near to the actual star, so as a result, yeah, I have no choice but to have that sticker on for the time being. And he gets a 10. But, yeah, I got nothing else to say. Like I said before, I mean, let's face it though, it's about the fact that hopefully by next week, we can definitely mention about more aspects. Thanks to the forms of Gamescom coming up soon, and in addition to the forms of maybe some other events, they might able to actually just, well, it's hard for me to explain about this right about now, because even then, yeah. Alright, so Koopa's gonna meet up with Kamek right there to potentially try to buy something on his shop, so he might able to buy the regular mushroom to have more additional movements, so that's fine for him either way. And he's probably going to accept the, you know, trying to able to actually go for 3 stamps there to get, you know, 30 coins as far as at this point in time. I mean, yeah, once again, the weather condition in the UK right now is also getting quite hot again. I mean, we're on to the point for the fact that the heat waves is about to get a lot more insufficiency. Well, it's hard for me to explain personally, because even then though, because I always attempt to like have my windows open still, so just in case I need some bit of fresh air still. So, oh jeez, we're now on to this particular moment where Ninja decides able to place his another Star Steel trap, but this time right next to where Bodo's was. So, and of course he's gonna steal 15 coins off me. So, yeah, as you can see, rather than just trying to do button mashing, so instead it does it for you know, just trying to steal exactly 15 coins. So it just plays that little boo, managed able to make you dizzy animation, and as a result, this means that you can no longer do button mashing now. So because of that, yeah, everything else will become to expect with some differences between both the party roles and the pro roles, essentially. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure the frenzy roles and the attack match roles version is basically unchanged for compared to the party roles, but in pro roles mode, it's entirely different. So, yeah, that's gonna hurt for Ninja either way. And of course, the flash sale has officially been ended, so we might come across into that again until turn number 10. So, but that's going to be for quite a while. So because of that, because like I said before, is that some turns might take a bit of a while to able to finish. Although, unlike in Frenzy Rolls though, it just goes by a lot faster, assuming of course, depending on that, dual minigames will occur. So, usually in the earliest point throughout. So, alright, on again, off again, so yeah, got nothing else to say about this, I guess. Oh, jeez. That was it. Oh, jeez. Well, Bodo's out, so that's not good. Oh boy. And I'm sure enough though is about the fact that, well, until when it gets to the point after we're done with most of these actual content, with some side content for Switch 1 version of Super Mario Party Jamboree, I can promise you guys I'll do the next 2 voting system, to be more specifically with both Frenzy Rolls and Tag Match modes, until, I would say, on September specifically, because mind you though, if we decided able to actually go through the majority of these side modes in Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 1 version, mind you, that we might able to actually cover through most of them throughout the majority of the August month, because aside from all that stuff though, because like I said before, this particular Mario Party game, Super Mario Party Jamboree, is huge compared to the previous games, so that's for sure, because it does have a lot of content was not present in the past Mario Party games. I'm looking at you, both Mario Party Island Tour and in addition to the Top 100 especially, because I still find it to be very laughable for the fact that the Top 100 only has one board and there's only 100 mini games to be exact, mind you, so and also just only 8 playable characters in that game, which is a bit mind-boggling to me. Well, even then though, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I'm still very glad that, you know, both Toad and Toadette are now finally playable again, so... Alright, I'll go for a double dice again, so just in case, well, despite the fact that the sightseer bonus on this particular run is pretty useless, because even then though, that at the moment is about the fact that the ultimate goal when it comes to obtaining the bonus star is by landing on so many of those event spaces in order to able to actually get ourselves the eventful bonus, because that again though is about the fact that it always goes in random selection of choice every time whenever you do manage to replay through pro rolls at the start. So because of that though, there's no option for you to choose whatever bonus star you might as well go for, so it's all depending on luck, basically, if we're able to actually know. Like, for the sake of the forms of 33.3% chance, if we're able to actually go for one of the 3 bonus stars will be chosen, well, it's only selecting one, so... Anyway, oh, so close for you, Koopa, to try to get yourselves this star, by the way. So I guess until the next turn, I should probably get myself my 3rd star. So because of that, so far so good for me anyway. So as a result, it looks like that Ninja is going to be using the mock-up sticker against with Koopa right here. Just to ensure for the fact that if Koopa managed to meet up with the star, he has to pay double the price. So... But, yeah. So, because no matter what, though, it's about the fact I'm pretty sure, speaking of which, in terms of the forms of something, Olympics related, is about the fact that I do honestly remember about the fact that, likely in 1 year ago, that I just felt so sorry for Silver the Hedgehog for able to actually catching that particular stupid, sea virus for the 2nd time throughout the majority of 2024 last year, so as a result... Yeah, it's pretty amusing back then. Well, so far anyway, I did not able to actually catch that stupid sea virus so far for this year, which is good. Especially considering about the fact that it's almost going to be to the point where the fact that, sometimes though it's about the fact that you never know of what's to come, so...
Minigame.
Alright, minigame time. So as a result, we're going into 1 versus 3 again. Seriously, we're going to be playing so many of those 1 versus 3 minigames throughout the whole entire... process at this point in time. So, alright, income stream, so let's get on with this. So, now as far as the forms of the single player mode is concerned, specifically the Party Planet track, I was originally trying to able to actually go for my Nintendo Switch Pro controller option, but instead I might actually going to be sticking around with my Joy-Con controller as it is, because even then though, because that way we would be able to actually guarantee to able to come across into the mini games for reals, like the remaining mini games we have not played yet. So yeah, that'll be my specific final solution in regards to the forms we're trying to go into the Party Planet track mode. So, but then again, no, it's not going to be specifically until next Monday, mind you, that we can now able to actually start get on with the forms of single player mode, which I'm really looking forward to that though, by the way. Although it might play kind of familiar to you if you ever experienced that particular obscure Mario Party Advance game, which, even then though, I'm sure I'll get into more details about that until on Monday as it stands, so... But at the very least, I got ourselves about so many coins. So as a result, that way, I should able to actually get enough for, you know, trying to get ourselves the next star as it goes.
Let's go.
Alright, so it's time to use my, double dice here. So that way, I will refuse to able to actually get 2 1s here. 8 and 10 makes 18. So how about that? And I might as well get a stamp here.
That'll do.
And, oh yeah, I need to check on the map after I somehow managed to get into that junction point. So even then, there's my 3rd star in Pro Rolls in 1 board only. So, at least specifically in this Let's Play, as you probably already expect. So, alright, so now the next star is going to be at the far right now, on the top floor, or should I say floor 3. So, I might consider, hold on, let me check on the map quickly, so just in case of what specific route I might go to. If I go to the right, and if I hop onto the elevator, I should able to actually get to the 3rd floor faster. Whilst if I decide to go onto the escalator and then decide to meet up with Bowser Jr. to participate on that Jamboree minigame again, although that can take a very long time, especially noticeable, I might get the horrible feeling I might actually lose that particular minigame again. I mean, ever since in some time ago in Goomba Lagoon board, so, but either way, I'm also able to go for a fast route by taking an elevator, so just in case, or going up to the lift, so yeah, I don't mind paying 5 coins to get in there, so we'll just fast forward here. Although as much as I want to get every single stamps at this point, I mean, after all though, I just want to not only try to go after the next star, but also manage to pop over the next visit to the golden shop again, so only now I can go for a payday triple dice, so, because that way I can able to actually go for 3 dice blocks instead of 2. And at the same time though, trying to get the insane amount of coins depending on my luck scenario, so. Alright, so Bodo gets a 5. Although, she's probably not going to go into the lift because, as far as I'm aware, she was off by 6 spaces to get to the star. So because of that though, oh yeah, and something's worth noting for, we've almost at the home stretch already. So this means about the fact that now, unlike the regular party rules mode, that basically that we are able to actually come across into the last 5 turn events, depending on the forms of specific choices, I think, no matter what though, I don't think it's possible we can able to actually encounter the final 5 turn event or anything else like that in a Pro Rolls mode. So, and also relatively speaking though, as you can definitely tell, on that particular item space right there, I'll actually kind of think about it, I just realized that in the Pro Rolls mode, I'm pretty sure you can't able to actually play item minigames, I just found out. Mainly because, well, as far as I'm aware, that it just wants to make the game a little bit quicker and faster, rather than just trying to able to make things dragged on as it stands. So, yeah, I totally misread that, which is especially noticeable considering about the fact at that point in time, that, my lord, the temperature has gone pretty hot again, like I said before, especially because considering about the fact that we're still on summer season, of course, so, but I digress. So,
Minigame.
alright, another minigame time, so either way, let's get into 4-player minigame again, which at this point we've already played every single one of them, so now we can play the insane amounts as many times as we want, like Sledge to the Edge. So, I mean, mind you though, it's about the fact that still it's very, it is a shame that this particular part is still unskippable, so, I mean, the reason why it's unskippable in case you do need to pay attention to the surroundings to get a hint of where exactly you need to be exactly to where the closest to the edge can be, so. Alright, so here we go.
Start.
Timing is key here, which is pretty self-explanatory. And I guess this will do. Or Ninja is about to get out. Because I can imagine if he got very lucky to stand right near to the edge, I'm like, yo, you're very lucky, you know that, do you? But either way, we did manage to win regardless, so... But then again though, the flash sale is not going to happen until turn number 10. So even then though, because as a result, that once we get to turn 12, everything else will be closed in addition to the events space shops here and there. So, alright, last 5 turns in Pro Rolls mode. So as a result, onwards to the home stretch. So, of course, it plays out pretty much the same as the regular party rolls, only now with the lack of the final 5 turn events, although we're still able to actually go on to double the amount of coins for blue and red spaces, and also participate in the duel minigame if someone lands on the same spot as you, and that's about it basically. So because of that though, again, it's one that makes things a lot more faster and quicker, so it's like gotta go fast kind of syndrome or something, but I get ahead of myself, you know.